Hi guys, welcome back to the workshop. Now, if you watched my previous video, you might have noticed that I said that my compressor has burnt itself out. So what we're going to do in this video series, we're going to try to do a post-mortem on the thing, see if we can rebuild it or replace, or if we have to replace it, or what needs to be done. So let me reposition you to the workbench and we'll get started, okay? Okay, so here it is, a little bit of backstory. This compressor I found lying around the place in this building I'm in, and I was free to use it. So I've plugged it in and it worked. So I just put it in service with pretty much no maintenance, which probably wasn't a smart thing to do. It was connected. Actually, there was an air line running to another workshop that ran next door, and I just basically let them use my air. Those guys were in there quite often, and they would come in the morning, flip the switch, the compressor would start puffing away, and in the evening when they left, they would just switch it back off. Now one day they came in, and as always they switched the power on, compressor started running and it was fine, and several hours later, one guy was passing through this room and noticed how much smoke, not so much smoke but smog, the sort of oily mist in the air there was. They ran in. They saw how hot this thing got. It was effectively boiling the oil that was inside the thing. Of course, they killed the power. They were a little bit scared that they broke my compressor. So what we need to do first is we need to do a post-mortem on the thing, like I said. See what the hell is wrong with this thing. Okay, so let's start with some basic disassembly. I've pulled it off the air tank, obviously, so I can film it easily. And we'll have a look. So first of all, I'm gonna get rid of this tube. Okay. And just looking at it, looks like there are stories about the oil burning or boiling off have some merit to it, because this is the air exhaust, so this is going to the tank, and it is quite filthy and oily here. It's not supposed to be that way, it's supposed to be clean. So I'm not sure. By the way, this is not a tutorial, this is not a how-to, this is literally just a video log kind of a thing. So the question is, why did this compressor get so hot? It could be that it developed a leak somewhere, and as such the pump was just the pressure switch never switched itself off, so it just kept running and running and running and running, and as such getting hotter and hotter and hotter until pretty much went into meltdown. And another possibility is that the pressure switch has failed, but seeing how the compressor's been running for goodness knows how many hours before it was actually noticed, and the tank is still intact and all the hoses are still fine, I don't see that being a problem. So what I'm going to do now is I'll try to find if there's a leak somewhere inside this pump itself, because yeah, I can pull it apart, but what's the point if I don't know what to fix? So let's have how can I do this. Right, so yes, it makes farting noises. Right, okay, well it turns smoothly, so it looks like the bearings are not shot or anything. Let me just try this, hang on. I will probably block the camera view for a second, but what I'm trying to do is I'll try to cap off this exhaust as if I'm creating pressure, and see if the compressor tries to push my hand away or what's happening. So hang on a second. Let's do it like that. Right, I'm not sure if you can hear that. I might bring you in closer, actually. Let me bring you in closer to make sure you can hear that. One sec. This is not a good shot, I know. But what I want you to listen to is this. Hang on. This is firmly capped, by the way. I'm holding the exhaust as hard as I can, and yeah. Yeah. There's air escaping through somewhere. It looks like it's through the valves, the intake valves. That should be closed. So that will be my first point of call, if you like. Okay, yeah, it's definitely got a leak somewhere. It looks like this cylinder is worse, but let's see if we can investigate a bit further. So let me take the exhaust sort of manifold here. This is pretty tight. Okay, now with the exhaust manifold being off, I can still cap the exhaust ports. Yeah. You should be able to hear the air hissing out. Interesting. Okay. I'm almost certain that it's these intake valves that are the culprit of the leak. Okay, there's two things that I'm concerned with. I'm actually taking back what I said about this cylinder being worse, because it's actually this one that's worse. In this one, if I put my thumb on it, I can actually feel pressure being generated. It still leaks, but there is pressure there. Now in this one, if I put my thumb here, there's absolutely no pressure being generated, and all the air escapes back through the intake valve. So let's have a look. This compressor is very old. I have no idea when it was made. There's a 1911 casted on the exhaust manifold, but I don't think I can't see that being the date. It can't be 100 years old. So that's probably just a serial number or a part number or something. But there is no date that I can find anywhere. Let me have a look. No. It says it's aerial style, and it tells me what oil to use, but no, there seems to be no date on the thing. So I'm going to take the retainer caps off, and that should give me access to the valves, and we'll see what can be seen. Now this thing is probably imperial, left, right and center. Now unfortunately all my tools are metric, so this is there's a 12mm span, and this a little bit too large, and 11mm is a little bit too small, so oh well, you work with what you got. These things, by the way, are worth their weight in gold. It's a magnetic part strength, so the parts don't fall out. So even if I was to kick this off the table, some of the parts might still stay in it. Especially if you're working with something small, like if you need to do some work on your phone or something like that. You know how tiny the screws in there are? Well, keep them in those so you don't lose them rolling around everywhere. And that's how you round a nut. By using a spanner that's too large. Right, let's have a look. There we go. Yeah, there's lots of oil on this. That's not supposed to happen. Right, now these are the exhaust sort of valve retainers, and yeah, we can see how hot it got this caked, whatever the hell that is. It looks like it's dust filled with oil or whatever, just caked on the inside. The other one's a bit better actually, but you can still see, I mean, it's not supposed to be sort of burgundy in color. This is just brass, so goodness knows what happened in here. Oh, that's actually just an oil film in there. Yeah, it's just an oil film. So this thing was spewing out oil like nobody's business. Right, that's the intake valve. And all it is just a small steel disc that's supposed to seal against this brass disc, and there's a spring inside. It's supposed to help it seal. Right, there's a couple of dings and stuff on the sealing face of the thing. I hope I'm in the shot. There's a couple of dings and scratches and marks on the sealing face, on the sealing journal of this brass bit. So it could be one of the reasons why it wasn't sealing properly. Okay. This is the intake valve of the plate of the side that wasn't sealing at all. Now this seems quite alright actually. This one looks better than the other one. Alright. But this, the actual valve has got something stuck on it. It looks like silicone, something like that. Something that was caked on there. So yeah, goodness knows what that is. So probably someone was in here before me and tried to fix it with, I don't know, silicone or something. No, that's not gonna work. Yeah, so what the hell that is, I've got no idea. So these valves are gonna go through quite a bit of cleaning before we put them back. Oh boy, yeah. This is the exhaust side of one of them, okay? And you can see they're probably supposed to look a bit like this, you know, clean metal discs. And you can probably see how hot this thing got, that it changed its color, so it oxidized in the heat. Okay. Same with this one, but to a lesser extent. It's also oxidized in the heat a bit. Okay. So what we'll try to do is, we'll try to pull the heads off next, see if we can find out anything else. Right. Okay. That's fine. So I need another bin. Okay. So, yeah, it's quite a lot of oil inside. Again, that's not supposed to happen. Looks like it's still got the original gaskets inside. So, okay, there's nothing I can see fundamentally wrong with the actual thing. I want to remove these studs though. Right, I'll show you. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to grab it with a pliers or something by the thread. That probably goes without saying. So what you use then is you back up two nuts, one against each other, and then you turn the bottom nut, and that, well, in this case it was easy, sometimes it's more difficult than that, and that way you're able to pull the stud out. The cylinders themselves, the pistons themselves, seem to move quite well. There's not a lot of resistance. Now, there's not a lot of resistance on the thing, so, and yes, I just broke my nail, oh my god. Okay, that's not too bad. Now what I want to check, and I hope I'll be able to do this, I want to cap this somehow fully and see if it is leaking air into the crankcase. If it is, that means the compression rings, if there are any, which I'm not sure of yet, that means the compression rings are shot, okay, and they have to be replaced somehow. Again, I really doubt I can get parts for this compressor, so we may have to think of something creative. And, okay, change of plan, actually. A bit of a better idea. Instead of testing compression, I tested suction. So hopefully if it seals one way, it should seal the other way as well. So if I just put my hand in it, as I move the piston down, it sucks my down to it, as opposed to trying to push it away. And you know what? The compressor, sort of a sealing against the cylinder itself of this piston is good. Now let's try the other. Yeah, this one's fine too. Well, not a very scientific way of doing it, of course, but you know, we're getting it. Okay, so I removed the oil dipstick, and there's certainly oil in the crankcase. So whatever burnt off or boiled off, if indeed it did, is not all of it. So that oil seems to be pretty full. 1 second. Let's have a look. Now I don't know whether you need to screw this in or not for it to take an oil measurement. Probably you do. So. Okay, this seems to be pretty much an adequate level of oil inside this thing. So that'll have to be drained. I can see sort of oil being deposited and not wiped off from the wall of the cylinder. So I'll try to take off the cylinders themselves, hopefully without breaking anything. I'm a bit dreading this part because one thing I don't have is a ring compressor to put them back on. That's, you know, do first and think later, huh? Right? Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay. Well, there we go. There was what seems to be a fiber washer here that I've completely and utterly destroyed. The journal of the actual cylinder looks pretty fantastic. There's no scratches, there's no marks, so that's good. Right, so it has 2 compression rings and looks like 1 oil ring. There's quite a significant amount of oil above it as well, so we'll see how that turns out. Let's try to take the other one off as well. Okay. So again, fiber washer is destroyed because it was stuck very well to, seems like, both surfaces. So we're going to have to replace that somehow. So have a look at the actual journal with the sleeve. Yeah, that's pretty cool. There's nothing on it. There's no real scratches, there's no real marks. There's some markings on top of them. Now, it says on the tops of both of them, it says ID14 STD. Now, the pistons themselves look pretty good. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with them. I will probably take the pistons off so they don't clatter about here and let them get damaged too bad. And we'll see. We'll see if we can find some new oil rings for it. I doubt it, but we'll see what I can do. Well, the fit and finish on these parts is absolutely fucking amazing, to be honest with you. Pardon the language. This has obviously been ground to almost a mirror finish. Yeah, and it fits there. Beautifully. Okay, so there's one piston. Okay, same story. Beautiful, beautiful finish. Hardly used. Almost nowhere on the thing. The action itself, ignore the scraping. This is me not not moving the cornrows out of the way. Yeah, that scraping excluded. The action of the actual crank and the conrods and the flywheel is absolutely superb. So the next thing I want to do is I want to drain the oil. Actually, that should have been the first thing I did, but oh well. That looks like an old oil drain screw right here. And I need to find fashions to some sort of a catcher and see how much of it I can get rid of here. So just try to drain the oil using this makeshift funnel made out of some cardboard. There is, you probably guys can't see it, but there is a screw over here. It's a square head screw with a slot, and it looks like that slot might have been cut into by the previous abuser of this compressor. So I don't have any square drive nuts, square drive sockets, so I have to somehow get in here with a spanner, and that's a little bit tricky. Yeah. Welcome to How to Round a Fastener 101. Step 1. Use the wrong size of the spanner. Step 2. Make sure you can't get to it properly. Step 3. Make sure the fastener is really bloody stuck in there. Step 4. Add decades of use and abuse. End result is a nice round fastener you can't for the life of you get out of there. Okay. How the hell do I do this, guys? Okay, I've got one more idea. Well, what this is a ratchet with an adapter that has a flathead drive, and hopefully I can actually put some serious pressure on this screw, on this bolt, whilst having quite a bit of torque to undo it. And that way, I hope, I have to hold it as well so it doesn't slide all over the bloody place. And that way I hope I'll be able to crack this fastener open. Let's have a look. No. Okay, I don't know what gorilla actually got that fastener in there, that fucking screw, but it's not coming out. Normally what I would do in this case, I would take my impact gun and rattle this thing off. Now obviously I don't have an impact gun because I've got no compressed air. So I'm not entirely sure what to do. Right, I've got a very good feeling that that particular fastener is not coming out. So, this is what, plan E now? Probably gonna have to tip this whole thing over and pour the oil out of the filler cap. So I'm not gonna get all of it out that way, I don't think, but I should get most of it. Okay, so. I'm gonna keep it there for a second like that, just let it drain out. Yeah. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the crank or the con rods or the bearings. I mean, I know this is not a good way to test bearings. There should be some load on the thing, but I can't figure out an easy way to put a load on it, so we'll call it good. There doesn't seem to be, for me to be an easy way, well there isn't a way at all actually, to get rid, basically to take the base of the crankcase, because this is just one casting. That's a bit of a problem. The reason why that's a problem is because I'm gonna have to scrape this old fiber washer off, and that is almost guaranteed, some bits of it is almost guaranteed to end up inside of the crankcase where I don't want them. So, not quite sure what we're gonna do with that. I think it's enough for now. Okay, we've just seen a grown man struggle to undo a fastener and actually fail to undo a fastener. That's always entertaining, I think. So we'll catch you next time. I'm gonna take the pistons home. I'll see if I can find a couple of replacement rings for them. It's not crucial, but you know, if we're doing this, we might as well do this properly. So yeah, see you next time.